Well, it is clear to most Americans that the U.S. is getting closer each day to getting militarily involved in Syria. But what you may not know is that a new report says we already are. So who exactly is the U.S. supporting? Ben has the reality check you won't see anywhere else.
The headline from Reuters yesterday, President Barack Obama has signed a secret order authorizing U.S. support for rebels seeking to depose Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and his government. A U.S. government source acknowledged that under provisions of the presidential finding, the United States is collaborating with a secret command center operated by Turkey and its allies. Last week, Reuters reported that along with Saudi Arabia and Qatar, Turkey had established a secret base near the Syrian border to help direct vital military and communication support to Assad's opponents. Separately from the president's secret order, the Obama administration has stated publicly that it is providing some backing for Assad's opponents. The State Department said on Wednesday the U.S. government had set aside a total of $25 million for non-lethal assistance to Syrian opposition. A U.S. official said that was mostly for communications equipment, including encrypted radios. Now, Republicans like Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham, they insist the president is taking too long to help the rebels overthrow Assad. But the big question here that no one is asking, who are these rebels that the U.S. is supporting? Well, buried at the bottom of that Reuters article, quote, recent news reports from the region have suggested that the influence and numbers of Islamist militants, some of them connected to AlQaeda or its affiliates, have been growing among Assad's opponents. U.S. and European officials say that so far, intelligence agencies do not believe the militants' role in the anti-Assad opposition is dominant. Really? They don't believe that the militant role is dominant? It's kind of interesting because we've been here before. As recently as last year. In 2011, the U.S. provided large amounts of money and military support to help overthrow Muammar Gaddafi. They were providing that support to opposition forces in Libya. At the time, an Italian newspaper interviewed Abdel Hakim al-Hasidi, the Libyan rebel leader. And he told that Italian newspaper that jihadists who fought against Allied troops in Iraq, against U.S. troops, were on the front lines of the battle against Gaddafi's regime. Mr. al-Hasidi admitted he had earlier fought against the foreign invasion in Afghanistan before being captured in 2002 in Pakistan. He was later handed over to the U.S. and then held in Libya before being released in 2008. Mr. al-Hasidi insisted his fighters, quote, are patriots and good Muslims, not terrorists, but added that the, quote, members of AlQaeda are also good Muslims and are fighting against the invader, end quote. So what you need to know, late last year when Senator John McCain co-wrote the National Defense Authorization Act and President Obama signed it into law, they crafted a law that gave the president the authority to use all necessary and appropriate force during the current armed conflict with al-Qaeda and the Taliban and associated forces, including the power to indefinitely detain anyone caught supporting al-Qaeda, which in this case is the president and members of Congress. To be clear, we're spending over $1 trillion and, more importantly, spilling the blood of thousands of American lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. Then spending more American money and military power to, in some cases, help the same fighters overthrow another government. Is al-Qaeda the enemy or aren't they? And that is Reality Check.
If you would like to make your voice heard on this story, you can head over to Ben's Facebook page. You can find it by searching Ben Swan at WXIX.